All righty, everybody. Well, hey, your next guest is a bit of a surprise, maybe, but it is the spot that was open left. So I picked the last available spot here to be a part of International Podcast Day. And I have to tell you, this has been an interesting day in an amazing way of not only getting a chance to share so many other valuable podcasts out there, but get a chance to kind of connect with those hosts out there that are just doing amazing things. Honored to be a part of yours. Honored to be an icon of influence and invited to New Media Summit by Steve Olsher. Just pulling up here the Facebook Live so I can watch any questions or comments that come in here since I'm talking now. But I run a little show called the Note Closer Show podcast. It's a very niche-y show because I focus on the distressed debt investing game, basically. What's that mean? Well, there's obviously many people, when they hear about that I'm in real estate, they think, oh, realtor. I'm like, no. Oh, mortgage broker. I'm like, oh, no. What I do is a little bit different than what most people do in the real estate field. I buy distressed mortgages from banks and hedge funds, and that's what led to us kind of doing the podcast. I've been doing that for 10 plus years. I'm one of the premier educators in what I do because I do have an education platform to buying debt besides just going out and buying distressed mortgages, distressed real estate, and then working to rehab the borrower versus actually trying to take the property back. Now, don't be wrong, we do take a lot of the property back. We do foreclose about half the time. But our, let's see here, got notes and comments here. Perfect, now I get this up. Our biggest thing is, that's funny. I'm loving the questions. People love Mark's thing going out there. But literally, should I hit record? Yeah, we're good. So I started doing videos roughly over 10 years ago as testimonials with clients, people I was coaching with, and then started doing live stream, Facebook Lives almost daily. Did it for 9 months straight, actually coming up on the first part of November 2016. We started doing Facebook Lives as a way to reach out to our audience, to really kind of build a network and touch base with everybody. I think I heard Kevin Harrington, one of the sharks from Shark Tank, talk about the best way to do is try to stay in touch with your audience, your tribe on a daily basis if you can. I said, why shouldn't I start doing Facebook Lives? It's just be an easy thing to do. I already been watching Gary Vaynerchuk do a lot of his stuff. And then when they roll it out to the rest of us peons, I was like, let me start using it. So started doing that on a daily basis for the most part. And I make the joke that I look back at some of those early episodes and the graininess and the screen being of different sizes and being inside or outside, the audio being good. Oh my God, I've learned a lot from being consistent about it and sticking to that of doing stuff on a daily basis. And then in August 21st of 2017 was the first aired episode of the No Close Show. I have to give a big shout out to some friends of mine, Tom and Tracy Hazard, who produce our podcast show. They produce some of my friends' podcasts, been saying, yeah, you need to do a show. I'm like, I don't want to, it seems like it's a lot of work. And they're like, well, you already do webinars. I'm like, yeah, I do webinars pretty regularly. Well, if you use Zoom, you can just use the same stuff there to record your podcast. And that was the aha moment that went off in my head. It's like, oh, I don't have to do anything extra. I don't have to buy a big mixing board or a mixing audio board to bring in everything. And so I was like, I'm done. I'll do that. And so that's what kind of started doing podcasts. And it's been a crazy 13 months since we launched the No Close Show. You guys are all welcome out there. Got a lot of great content. Liddy, thank you so much for the day. So much. Don't go anywhere. I'm not done yet. We've still got more people behind me. I'm just filling in the spot here so we can end at 8 o'clock tonight on time for everybody. So started doing this. It's been amazing. One of the greatest things I have learned over the last 13 months of being a podcaster is I'm always amazed at the consistency of our tribe or audience reaching back out to us. If we don't deliver episodes on a regular basis, if we don't record them, our tribe starts to reach out and says, hey, where have you been? Now, one of the biggest aha moments I had for the last 13 months is when we were on vacation, and I took some vacation. I took a week off from episodes, and I saw my downloads drop dramatically because I hadn't really filmed anything beforehand, and I was going on another vacation, a longer vacation to Europe, and realized I don't want to make that same mistake. I want my show to still stay relevant. What can I do? So I reached out to my tribe and my students of Note Investors and offered up to 8 people that I thought would do a great job. All 8 of them said yes, they'd love to be part. Some were on just 1 episode, some were on 2, some were on like 6 or 7 over a 3-week period. And some of them really teamed up and did tremendous jobs with their show. And some will be launching some new podcasts here. Hopefully they'll do it and take the lead and share that they realize there's plenty of room out there. But I was amazed that the downloads actually increased quite a bit while I was gone, which was great. It was great bringing on those guest hosts to share their insight, to share what they wanted to share about the note industry, the ups and downs that they were struggling with. Because I think us as solo hosts, whether you bring on, you're sharing content or you bring on guest interviews, sometimes hey, your tribe, your audience wants to hear from other people out there what's going on. And that's one of the things that we pride ourselves on the show is that we do usually 50-50, 50% interviews, 50% content, whether it's case studies or use it as a learning tool to help take our note business and our class business to a different level. Okay. Who's saying flashing? Okay. I don't know. It's probably you, Christina. You want me flashing? Is that what you're saying? It looks like everything's fine in here. You better check your internet connection because it looks good on Facebook Live. It looks good here. Everything we got rolling on. But anyway, so the podcast has opened up new doors that I never thought available. We've got some even greater guests on. We've actually, in our industry, I think some people would agree to this. It's kind of niche a little bit. You have the followers of Scott Carson, the Carsonites, they call us, or you have the people that follow our other, I guess you could say, pseudo competitors or other educators out there. There's not a lot of co-mingling of people a lot of times. Everybody kind of sticks to the thing, but the podcast has helped us bring, I guess you'd say, not really our competition, but our peers together a little bit more so as we've had them on as guests on our shows and got a chance to kind of meet them and hang out with them a little bit more. So it's kind of, I think, lowered the walls in the industry. It's pretty competitive out there. And that's been really rewarding. What is also really rewarding is hearing from all of our listeners out there and hearing people closing their first deal or making money in notes or seeing that it's actually easier than they thought it would be, or seeing people just make huge strides as real estate investors in a variety of ways. Leaving their job, retire their family, being okay in a downtime. And so that's always been rewarding, seeing what kind of positive change that we have on people's businesses, people's lives, and see the things that they're going out. We've seen people leave their job they're tired of and do this full time, which is always phenomenal. That's really the strive we have as a note closure show on there. Some of the other side things have made it interesting. It's helped us. It's tweaked our marketing more so than anything else. I think a lot of new podcasters, this is the best advice I could give somebody who's looking to be a new podcaster, is don't shy away from sharing. Share and be consistent. If you're going to do it once a week, do it once a week. If you're going to do it once a day, do it once a day. If you're going to do it once or twice a week, whatever it is, stick to that schedule as best as you can and get in the habit of doing it on a regular basis and sticking to it. One of the things that we do in the office, to come in, it's usually the first thing that we do daily, and it's become our daily marketing piece to our tribe, to our audience, to our extended, our family across the country. I guess our hashtag note families, like they call it. But it's also, we do it a little bit different than most people. I know some people are either just go audio because it's true podcast, stick to the thing, or you're a video podcast. We like to incorporate both of them, and I think that's the big aspect of having our production staff that really run with what we do and toss it to them and let them run. You heard earlier from Mitch Russo or from Beth talk about how they outsource their production. And we do the same thing here. We film it. We throw it to our production team. They run with the video, and they do all the heavy lifting. They take the video, turn it into pure audio, get that uploaded to iTunes, Stitcher, all those platforms. We upload the video, whether we use Zoom like we're using now, or we use BeLive.tv in some cases. We always share it to Facebook Live because that gets a lot of instant gratification. It helps with questions. It helps kind of carry the show sometimes with our guests because we get such great questions from our audience that are watching. That also leads to great answers. It also leads to us having great content and really kind of communicating and hearing what our audience wants to listen in. So instead of having to wait for questions coming via email, we're able to kind of hit that instant gratification a lot of times with our tribe. But of course, then throwing it on YouTube, throwing it on Vimeo, taking the audio transcription, and then our production company throws it into a blog, which has helped us with so much SEO. It's been kind of crazy. That aspect of taking the blog, not just show notes, but the little word-for-word blog or audio, and creating a full blog. I know a lot of people that do their own audio notes and transcription, they don't want to do that much work, and I agree, it would be work. That's why we pay somebody to do it. because it has been very valuable of us helping to rank on search engines. It has also helped our guests that are on the show, and it has also led to sponsors, because now we rank high with those keywords that some of our sponsors deal with. So that's helped us drive traffic and also helped us drive downloads, because it's now searchable for our vendors, or very searchable for other investors that they use, or other note investors out there, other vendors and services, attorneys, things like that. So it's been led to auxiliary SEO searchability with our show as well, and we've seen that kind of drive up with how many pages we rank on. It's also just led to other speaking opportunities out there, and that's been kind of did not expect that. I have a pretty hectic travel schedule as it is for what we do, but it's led to some different speaking opportunities, other show guests, or as guests on other people's show, that has led to downloads and other people finding our show as well. So the biggest advice I can give somebody who's starting a new podcast is, like you've heard from many people out here say this already, just start doing it. Don't be afraid of, don't let the video or don't let the technology sway you from starting something. If you have an issue, jump on Facebook. There's so many great podcast groups or meetup groups or people inside of those groups that are willing to help you overcome those obstacles. Just start doing it. Start you a Facebook Live. Start doing a Zoom. Just start talking about subject that you're passionate about, and your audience will eventually lead to it. I like the Facebook aspect of things because it leads to finding audiences relatively quickly, and you'd be silly not to grow your audience. A quick kind of case study aspect of it. I like to track everything with my show, downloads, views here, views on Facebook. And so I have my staff literally go back and look to see how many views each Facebook Live episode has. And we look back at over the last 13 months. One thing to keep in mind, we had 150 episodes we did on Facebook Live before we ever did a true podcast episode. So we've done 350 episodes. We're now at like 200 episodes in our first 13 months. And out of that, we've exceeded 80,000 Facebook views on those first 200 episodes of a podcast. That's an extra 400 people basically on average seeing your message, seeing your audience. So that adds a lot. We're over 160,000 downloads. When you compare, you add another 80,000 views on Facebook. We like to go back and look at what did we have on YouTube. That's another 80,000+ downloads or views on there. And then we also upload our videos to Vimeo.com for a little bit more editing for us. And that's been another 70,000 views on there. So if we just did the audio side of what we did, we'd probably have a pretty good audience. I don't think we'd be over 6 figures in downloads. But the fact is that we have quadruply positioned our show across Facebook, across YouTube, across Vimeo, and then also sharing the audio and transcription on our Facebook page has more than quadrupled our audience when you add those numbers together. So I know everybody gets all excited about downloads and stuff like that. And yes, we track that. We're excited that September is the best month yet we've ever had. We'll shoot it close to right at 20,000 downloads by the end of the day for the full month. But I'm a big believer that we are all our own media company. For those that are watching, for those that have shared today, I think they all believe that as well, is that we all are in control of our own media, and it's about whether you share it or don't share it. And you have the right not to share if you don't want to. That's completely fine. But I think one thing we've heard throughout today is it's all about conversations, right? It's all about starting conversations and talking with your audience or talking with your guests or sharing with your audience what's going on and being truthful and humble to share the good, the bad, and the ugly. And you do 200 episodes. If you're faking it, it's hard. You can't fake it. You're going to run out of room when you fake it. But if you're going to be honest and share what's really going on in your business and your life and stuff like that, you're going to have plenty of content, because you're going to have ups and downs. And the note business is just like that with anything else. We have peaks and valleys. Deals that close, deals get delayed, deals get drug out, stuff like that. So we share a lot of that with our audience. But the fact is that we share that. And if we didn't share it across YouTube or Vimeo, I don't think we'd have near the impact that we've had, or have had near the amount of growth that we've seen in our first 13 months. So much growth and so much that it's helped us, helped me come up with an idea to kind of, really kind of change the way we approach 2019. So, people ask me, where do I see myself in 2019 with the show? Well, the show is still going to be around. We're going to tweak a few things, but we're going to be positioning ourselves a little bit differently in what we do. I think we're going to take some of the leverage that we've used in our industry as a note business, not the podcast industry, but some of the leverage we developed through our podcast and share that across the board with some of, I guess you can say, other educators, other note entrepreneurs, to help promote them as well on an affiliate basis, to kind of help spread the word and really kind of unify versus divide out there. And I think we got a couple comments. Phoebe, thank you. Does such a great job. Enjoyed spending a lot of my day with you and the other guests. Heart, yes, thanks, Phoebe. Same here. It's been great. Thank you so much, Phoebe. Appreciate for sharing and commenting as well. If you are watching this live on Facebook, do me a favor, hit the share button. I know I should have said this more throughout the day, but if you love what you're listening to, take a second to share it, cross it, share it, cross promote it. We'd really appreciate it. All of us icons of influence would appreciate it. But where do I see myself in a few years down? I love the podcast market. I love what we're doing here. I love what everybody has shared today. I think it's going to continue to grow. I think more audio podcasters have got to get on the video side of doing episodes, because if you look at how our attention spans are shrinking dramatically, Mark on the previous episode talked about how people subscribe to 6 or 7 podcasts and actually listen to like 3 on a regular basis, or 5. You've got limited real estate to grab somebody's attention, and the more ways that you can share your message, share your show across those different platforms. I'm not just talking social media. I'm sharing the videos and things like that. If you look at, what those platforms like Facebook is doing, and Instagram is doing, and LinkedIn is doing, and even Twitter is changing some things up with video, what they're doing to leverage their video content to help them get the bigger piece of that media pie. And then you look at what some of the other, like Netflix and Hulu, and those are doing with their own shows, and YouTube as well. If you're going to do this long term, which I think many of us are, you'd be silly not to be sharing via video. So, and I love it when I do see podcasters that are sharing video and using it as a integral part of it. I think they're really ahead of the curve than what most people are at. Okay. Christy says, I've heard a few people say that they keep their podcast short because of attention span of audience. What is the ideal length? The ideal length is whatever you have to get with your message, Christine. Just John Lee Dumas does a 15-minute podcast episode because he films like 30 in a day. The ideal length is whatever it takes to get your message out. If you want to do it short and sweet, that's fine. You heard that earlier from Joe and Matt from the Hustle and Cash Flow podcast. They started off short, but now they've expanded to an hour because they're doing deep dives in your audience. So your message is going to share. The biggest thing I tell you this, there is no doubt your message is your ideal length. If you need to start off short at 15 and 20 minutes and grow as you do so. There's nothing wrong with that. It's whatever you have to say. It's whatever your audience has to say. It's whatever your guests have to say is the ideal length. And, you look at, if my show was 15 minutes, I don't think I'd get enough. Okay. But I think it's important that you just have to start doing something on a regular basis. So thanks, Debbie. Appreciate that. Hey, thanks, Jill, for listening. Thanks for being a big part out there listening as well out there today. So that is all I have for my part of International Podcast Day. I'm honored to be here. I'm honored to be around so many great, amazing individuals. Do me a favor. Hey, check out the Nut Close Show podcast. Go like it, subscribe it, leave us a 5-star review. Would love it. Appreciate it as well out there as well for you to listen to. I know it's a niche aspect of real estate investing, but I guarantee we love rehabbing the bar versus rehabbing properties. So it's trust me, with the downturn in the mortgage industry last 10 years ago, and how it's happened the last 10 years and what's going to happen in the near future, it pays to know what's going on in the note business. So I look forward to seeing you all at the top up there. So that's going to wrap it up for my part of International Podcast. Let's get the next guest on here and get rock and rolling. Thanks for listening.